Keenan Allen was one of the smoothest guys out there on the field. Everything about him, from his southern drawl to his route running to his dance moves, is well smooth. But smooth wouldn't be the best word to describe Keenan's journey from Greensboro, North Carolina to NFL stardom, especially at the 2013 NFL Draft, where it was about as far from smooth as possible. On one of the roughest nights of Keenan's life, he fell to the third round, and in the process saw 7 receivers come off the board before him. And in today's video, I'd like to take a look at who these 7 receivers are and how their NFL careers have turned out. But before we get into that, let's see how Keenan forged an NFL career. Keenan is from North Carolina, and he played his high school football at Northern Guilford High School. While there, he was absolutely unstoppable, playing every position. During his senior season, he scored a whopping 53 offensive touchdowns. But where he really shined was at the position he goes against every NFL Sunday, safety. According to Rivals, he was the nation's top safety, and originally he had committed to play that at Alabama, until his half-brother Zach Maynard transferred to Cal to play quarterback, and he went there to play receiver for him. In his freshman year at Cal in 2010, Keenan played pretty well, totaling 46 catches for 490 yards and 5 touchdowns. But in 2011, he finally showed us what he was capable of.
Design roll out by Maynard, who's on target to his brother Keenan Allen. He got a rock, but stay on his feet.
Keenan would ultimately finish his junior season with 98 catches for 1,343 yards and 6 touchdowns. In 2012, he would ultimately suffer a PCL injury and would miss the final 3 games of his junior season, but would declare for the 2013 NFL Draft. Due to his PCL injury, he was unable to participate at the NFL Combine. But to his detriment, he decided to run on his injured PCL to his pro day, and ended up with an abysmal 4.71 40-yard dash. This caused some scouts to worry about his health, but he was still projected to be a first-round pick, until he wasn't. On his draft night, Allen fell all the way to the 3rd round, where he was scooped up by the Chargers with the 76th overall pick, due to some scouts worrying about his health. In his first game as a pro versus the Houston Texans, he didn't play a single offensive snap, and decided he was going to retire if he didn't get to play the following week versus the Eagles. Versus the Eagles, starting receiver Malcolm Floyd suffered an injury, and he finally got his chance. In his first 6 years in the league, Keenan has totaled 420 catches for 5,206 yards and 28 touchdowns. But when you consider that he's missed 26 career games to injury and adjust his stats to if he'd stayed healthy, he would have totaled 576 receptions for 7,140 yards and 38 touchdowns, which for a receiver's first 6 years would have ranked him 1st for receptions, 7th in yards, and 43rd in touchdowns. Historic numbers for a guy who saw 7 receivers have their names called before him. Now, let's see who these guys are. Alright, so the first receiver taken at the 2013 NFL Draft was Tavon Austin with the 8th overall pick to the then St. Louis Rams. Tavon is the definition of all-purpose. At West Virginia in 2012 during his senior season, he had 2,910 all-purpose yards and 17 touchdowns. And he had his best game versus Oklahoma. Check it out. He would ultimately finish this game with 572 all-purpose yards, solidifying himself as one of the best receivers in the nation. In the evaluation process, the Rams fell in love with his acceleration and vision, and overlooked the fact that he was a slot receiver with poor hands and took him with the 8th overall pick. So far in his NFL career, he's struggled, only averaging 2.5 catches a game for 22 yards and 0.2 touchdowns. But to only look at Tavon as a pure receiver would be disingenuous. So far in the NFL, he's been used in similar ways as to how he was used at West Virginia, in the rushing and return game. He has the most rushing yards for a wide receiver's first 6 years in the league, and has been an effective punt returner throughout his career, Between 2013 through 2017, Tavon played for the Rams, where he'd occasionally show flashes, but for the most part, NFL defensive coordinators have managed to bottle him up. And considering that in 2017, not even Sean McVay could unlock his offensive potential, at this point, no coach probably can. And the Rams realized this and traded him to the Cowboys for the 2018 season. Currently, he's a backup receiver in Dallas, and having one of the worst years of his career, he may be cut before the 2019 season. Personally, I think the problem with Tavon is that he was drafted to be a receiver, and so far he's done everything except that. And given a second chance here, the Rams would have gone with Keenan. Now for the second receiver taken before Allen, Deandre Hopkins to the Texans with the 27th overall pick. Of all the guys I've looked at in my who were taken before videos, Hopkins is the best player for his position out of any of the guys on any of these lists. Nuke played his college ball at Clemson, and after a solid freshman and sophomore season, Hopkins erupted during his junior season in 2012 with 82 catches for 1,405 yards and 18 touchdowns. Leading up to the draft, scouts loved his hands and physicality, which led to the Texans taking him with their first round pick. After a slow rookie season playing behind Andre Johnson, Hopkins was finally given the chance to shine in 2014, and so far that's all he's done. In 6 years in the league, all D-Hop has done is compile 528 catches for 7,437 yards and 47 touchdowns, and has only missed one career game. On the all-time list for a receiver's first 6 years, he ranks first in receptions, 6th in yards, and 17th in touchdowns, all while doing this with some of the worst quarterback play in recent memory, with guys such as Ryan Mallett, Brock Osweiler, and Brian Hoyer. Now let's take a look at Deandre vs. Keenan's per game averages since Keenan has missed way more games. Deandre has a per game average of 5.6 catches for 78.3 yards and 0.49 touchdowns, while Keenan averages 6 catches for 74.4 yards and 0.4 touchdowns. Now, although Deandre has better numbers, I think this is a testament to how good Keenan is, by showing how close he is to potentially one of the greatest receivers of all time. Now, once again, we have another first for these lists. This is the first time I can definitively say that the team with the original pick would have gone with the same guy. Next up, the third receiver taken before Keenan, Cordarelle Patterson to the Vikings with the 29th overall pick. Cordarelle has what you would call track speed. At the University of Tennessee, he ran the 100-meter dash in a blazing 10.33 seconds. And this speed absolutely translated to the football field, with him turning this 1 year playing for the Vols in 2012 into 1,858 all-purpose yards. After analyzing his film, scouts adored his ability to cut and get up the field, which led to the Vikings drafting this athletic specimen in the first round. During his time in the league so far, Cordarelle's been a better version of Tavon Austin, doing his work in the league through rushing, receiving, and returning, and so far he's been electric. He's averaged about 30 yards a return, took a kickback 109 yards, and for a player's first 6 years, he's first all-time in yards per kick return and third in touchdowns. But you draft elite receiver talent in the first round, not elite kick return talent. And so far, Cordarelle has failed in this aspect. For his career, he only averages 1.9 catches for 19.7 yards and 0.1 touchdowns a game. Now, although Patterson has never lived up to the billing of a first-round pick, he's been a key role player on many teams, including the Patriots during their Super Bowl run last year, in which he had one of his better years as a receiver with 21 catches for 247 yards and 3 touchdowns. He turned this into a 2-year $10 million contract with the Bears. But he isn't anywhere near Keenan as a receiver, making this an easy decision for the Vikings front office given a second chance. They go with Keenan. Now imagine Diggs, Pylon, and Allen all playing together. Now for the fourth receiver taken before Keenan Allen, Justin Hunter to the Titans with the 34th overall pick in the second round. Justin has a very similar background to Cordarelle. They both attended school at the University of Tennessee, and they both participated in football and track. But this is where the similarities end. During Justin's sophomore year there, he tore his ACL against Florida and was forced to quit track. With his only focus being on football during his junior season, he compiled 73 catches for 1,083 yards and 9 touchdowns. At the Combine, Justin measured in at 6'4" and ran a 4.33 40-yard dash. Incredible numbers for a guy that size, which shows the scouts rambling on about his height and speed, which led to the Tennessee Titans selecting him with the 34th overall pick. Justin came into Tennessee viewed as a potential breakout star, and so far, that's what he's been considered every year, with the media always thinking he's just one season away from stardom. But so far this hasn't been the case. Justin has only totaled 85 catches for 1,349 yards and 13 touchdowns for 4 different teams over the span of his 6-year subpar NFL career, which was Keenan's stat line for just 2017 alone. Currently, Justin is on the Steelers, and who knows, but maybe with Antonio Brown's exit, Justin can finally have that breakout season. But given a second chance here, the Titans obviously go with Keenan. Alright, so for the 5th receiver taken before Keenan, Robert Woods to the Bills with the 41st pick. Woods played college football at USC and paired up with Marquise Lee there to create a dynamic duo. In his 3 years playing for the Trojans, he had 252 receptions for 2,930 yards and 32 touchdowns. After leaving USC, scouts were worried about his lack of speed, leading to him falling to the Bills in the 2nd round. Early on in his career, he was a fairly average receiver. From 2013 to 2016, he never had more than 700 receiving yards in a year for the Bills. In 2017, he signed with the Rams, but was only marginally better. But that is until 2018.
Give it to Woods. Looking for the end zone. Touchdown. Quarter number 3. Woods, touchdown.
In 2018, Robert put on a show, totaling 86 catches for 1,219 yards and 6 touchdowns, all career highs. So far in his career, Woods has been a solid receiver, and after seeing his game-breaking ability this previous season, who knows, but he should have a few more solid years in him. But he's never been a top guy like Keenan, which is why the Bills would have taken Allen here. Okay, so as a Patriots fan, this pick is gonna hurt, but here we go. The 6th receiver taken before Keenan Allen was Aaron Dobson to the Patriots with the 59th overall pick. Aaron played his college ball for Marshall, but never put together any incredible seasons there, with his best year probably being 2011, where he had 49 catches for 668 yards and 12 touchdowns. But what Aaron lacked in production in college, he made up with his incredible hands, including a 0% drop rate during his 2012 season. Yeah, this guy could catch. Scouts were drooling over how he had strong hands and could high point the ball. And his talents were obviously good enough to catch the eye of Bill Belichick, which shows with the Patriots making a rare move and taking a receiver early. In his rookie season during 2013, he showed promise, totaling 37 catches for 519 yards and 4 touchdowns. But it's been all downhill from there. Dobson has totaled 16 receptions for 179 yards and 0 touchdowns since that promising rookie year, and hasn't played a single down since 2015. This rare draft miss by Bill Belichick is another easy decision here. The Pats definitely would have gone with Allen, and imagine him running over the middle for Brady. Now for the 7th and final receiver taken before Keenan Allen. Terrence Williams to the Cowboys with the 74th overall pick. T. Willie played college football at Baylor, where he had 3 good seasons until his senior season in 2012, where he had an unbelievable year with 97 catches for 1,832 yards and 12 touchdowns, good enough to be a finalist for the Biletnikoff Award. But even after his incredible 2012 season, NFL scouts wanted to see him have better hands and to work on his limited route tree, leading to him falling to the Cowboys in the 3rd round. Terrence gelled with quarterback Tony Romo from the start, catching 44 balls for 736 yards and 5 touchdowns during his rookie season. And after a similar season during 2014, he came up huge during the 2014 postseason.
It's a big first down taken away. Romo fires.
In the following season in 2015, he had 52 catches for 840 yards and 3 touchdowns, getting all this done while Tony Romo was injured. In 2016, Terrence's struggles began, as he struggled to form the connection with Dak Prescott that he'd had with Romo. This was especially noticeable with Romo throwing him his last career touchdown pass, and at this point could also be Terrence's final career touchdown. Since then, Terrence has been injured and in legal trouble, and at the moment is out of the league. So this is once again another easy one. The Cowboys would have taken Keenan with this pick. This group of receivers was quite the mixed bag. You had everything from Hall of Fame talent in Deandre Hopkins to guys such as Dobson, who only had 53 career catches. But they each symbolize that no matter what day you were drafted on, you have as good a chance as the next guy.